Back again with another exciting video. Today I'm revisiting the topic of La Siren because I felt the last video I put out, it was too intense, it was too transcendental, and I don't think that it could relate to the people that was viewing the video. So today I want to talk about La Siren, aka Yemoja, Yemoja, whatever way one wants to pronounce it, it is what it is. But what does La Siren mean? It means the siren. That's what it means in translation. Now, there is an image that Santeros use, Voodooism use, and that is none other than the picture of Diosa del Mar. And this picture, you know, it's a lady that's pretty much on the sea, and basically it's an image that is universal and many people use it. But now I want to talk about this image here because the image that is used, it says a lot. In this, we understand that the waves pretty much that the woman stands on represents the reflection. It represents the mirror. It represents our world, the reflection of things in life.
As we begin to look deeper into the image of Diosa del Mar, which we use to harness the energy of La Siren, we realize that there's a moon. When we're looking at these images, there's a very deep code within what we're utilizing to harness the Loa, the Orisha, the Santos. The moon reflects itself on the sea, but we know that the moon affects the tides. We also have to understand that many people say that when there's a full moon, people begin to act strange. So we kind of have this mystical thing going on when we're looking at the moon in the image of Diosa del Mar, because the image of the moon gives us a reflection on the sea, but this reflection gives us who we consider the sirens. This is something that I don't expect many to get this because this is a very transcendental thing that I'm speaking about. But the moon in the image reflects itself as La Siren, or Diosa del Mar, who stands on the sea. But what we do not see with the human eyes is that there's an infinitude of beings just like her on the waves, on the sea. This is why they say be careful when you go to the beach. Don't wear certain jewelry because it will attract certain sirens.
Where you can see the duality between the sea and you can see the duality between earth. Or rather I say, the unity between earth as well as the sea. What you find in the sea, you have its counterpart on the earth. When you see the image of a woman with the body of a fish, it is there to remind us that our origins lies within the sea. When we're talking about La Siren, one of the most important things about La Siren is unity, working together, helping one another. With helping, it's as though we are receiving a blessing. With La Siren, you have to understand that your blessing is determined by what you do in life for others. When you do a good act for someone, you don't know whether La Siren put that person in your life for you to help them. And when she sees that, you see that you receive another blessing. When you shake a hand, it is as though you are giving a hand. When I say giving a hand, there is a metaphysical act in shaking a hand or giving a hand. And this is a universal principle which allows us to understand that the world works through unity. And without unity, there will always be chaos. We need unity. There can be nothing in this world that functions accordingly without unity. We have to understand that the sea, there are animals in the sea that keeps the ecosystem working. So in life, there are certain people that is part of the divine plan, whether it be it good or whether it be for bad. There are certain people that do hideous acts in life, but according to sea, if you look at how the sea operates, you can see it's reflected in our world itself. Where per se, you have in the sea, you have sharks eating other sharks, sharks eating, different types of fish, but in sharks eating different types of, or, sea lions, things of that nature. So you kind of find that in our society, and this is where you have the reflection, and this is why we have the image, or we say in Vodou that La Siren always likes to look at herself, and we can take that figuratively, or we can utilize. We can take that as being a universal or a metaphysical view of life, or understanding the unity between the sea as well as the earth. That there is a law of unity that must basically stay in motion. Now, I want to get more in tune with the prosperity. We have to understand this. When we deal with La Siren, a lot of people talk about the love. Yes, La Siren can attract. And we can see that by her presence, the beauty of the lady standing on the sea in the image of Diosa del Mar. We see a beautiful woman standing on the sea. When we look at beauty, what does beauty do? Beauty attracts. So therefore, we can see the attractive power within the image that we're using to harness the power behind it. La Siren can allow us to, La Siren gives us the ability to attract. But also, La Siren, unlike Freda, gives us the ability to use prudence. La Siren, I say, if Ezeli Freda is doing the spending, La Siren is the one doing the selling. La Siren is your boss. La Siren, rather I say, La Siren is your female boss. Yemoja is your female boss, for those of you who want to utilize the term Yemoja. We have to understand, when we're saying terminologies, and there's a lot of confusion that goes on between La Siren and Yemoja, whatsoever people say that they're not the same. Well, let's just put it like this. If you are using the image of Diosa del Mar, you are serving the same spirit. Let me repeat that again. If you are using the image of Diosa del Mar, the lady that's on the sea, or what they call the goddess of the sea image, you are serving the same spirit. I don't care if you're in Santeria, if you are in Voodooria, I don't care. If you are using that image of Diosa del Mar, you are serving the same spirit, the same loi. Deeds mean a lot to La Siren. There's many stories in Haiti about actions when it comes to La Siren. They say, there's a story of, I remember a person that said, there was a story that one person told me. They said that this young lady found a mirror in, I guess, while she was at the beach or something like that. And it looked very like an odd mirror. And they said to the young lady, you better return that. The person, took the mirror with them. Then they end up having a dream. And the person in the dream told that individual, if you return this, I will give you such and such. if you return the mirror. And the person end up returning the mirror, and days later that person receives some money from someone randomly. Though La Siren has the ability to attract, we have to see that power in other facets of La Siren as well. Because in order for a business to thrive, we have to attract customers. And in this we see economy. What is an economy? An economy is no different from an ecosystem. Hence we have eco and we have economy. The ecosystem of the sea supports itself. And this is where we find a reflection in La Siren's nature. She is independent. And this goes back to what I said earlier. If Ezeli Freda is the one that's spending, La Siren is the one doing the selling. La Siren is the loi that is in charge. She is independent. She has her shit together. When we serve La Siren, we become that independent person. We become very conscientious of how we spend our money. We begin to get a elevated self-esteem, where per se we will not allow someone to bring us down on our let's just say if we're doing a business transaction. We have a price. We have a price set. We won't allow people to talk us down. You know? So La Siren is more than just a loi that is just, I'm going to nurture you. And, there's a lot of facets to La Siren. And another facet which many people don't speak about is her ability to exact revenge on those that do us harm or do us wrong. Many people think of La Siren as just being a loi that can drown people, or when people go to the sea, issues happen at the sea. You have to understand that La Siren is the sea. She is the ever-moving water that never ever stops. So within this, there is a whole life. There's life within La Siren. There's different types of things that can fuck you up. So if you're just thinking that you're going to drown in the sea, there's sharks in the sea, there's stingrays in the sea, there's poisonous snails in the sea, there's poisonous jellyfish in the sea. There's a myriad of things that can happen to you at the sea. But we have to understand this. La Siren is not limited to the sea. When we transgress, La Siren has the ability to make us see things upside down, to mess up our focus, to cause us to see things in a different light, which impairs our judgment. We can get into accidents at times because our judgment has been impaired. And it's been said numerous times that La Siren can come and kill you in your sleep. So it becomes a wise thing for a person to respect La Siren, Yemoja, respect that law. Because it's not what people think. And we can even go to the worst of worst of having children, because you never know that transgression you made months ago, and now all of a sudden you go to a pool with your children and one of your children drowns. And let alone, you go to the beach, a tiger shark comes out of nowhere and takes a chunk of your leg off, or that of your family member. So there's various sides to La Siren, but overall, the good outweighs the bad. And if there's ever a time when the dark side of La Siren comes out, it's only because we did something wrong. Moving on from that, as I said in the previous video which I made, I stated that La Siren is older than Ezeli Freda, and many have linked the two because of beauty. When we think for a moment, the first mirror that our ancestors had was the sea. Later down the line, we found out how to make mirrors. And Ezeli Freda represents mirrors that man have constructed so we can see the reflection. The first mirror was that of the sea. We looked at our reflection. And then later on down the line, we received the mirror. But now we see this breaking into the world of reflections, because now we get this duality. We have the sea, we have the woman standing on the sea, but we have to expand our minds to understand that the woman on the sea, we can look at it as La Llorona of Mexico. We can look at it as various people who have died in the sea. And La Siren is just one of those sirens. Some would say she is the queen of sirens, but we have to look at it that she is a siren. And there's many more. With the reflective capabilities, with the reflective ability of the sea, it takes us back into our realization that the sea, everything on earth has its counterpart there in our nature. When you think of a shark is no different than that of a person who is, a shark is no different, excuse me. A shark is no different than that of a gang member. A person with dark thoughts, sharks have this ability to move in stealth. You ever heard of human beings talking about catch him while he's lacking? You know what I'm saying? This is a technique that is in our nature, which comes from our primal instincts. Catch him while he's lacking. Catch him while he ain't looking. These are surprise attacks that sharks use. And we see this reflection here on earth, just like we have the reflection from the sea to the mirror. There's a thin line between amphibians and humans.